Namaskar, good evening. Welcome to the Foundation Day celebration of IIT Jodhpur. I'm Ankita Sharma, member of the Faculty of Psychology at IIT Jodhpur and the moderator of today's event. To make this cherished day of our institute truly memorable, we have some eminent personalities and policymakers of our country today with us. We have Shri Amit Khare, Secretary, Department of Higher Education, Ministry of Education, Government of India as guest of our honor, Shri N.K. Singh, Chairman 15th Finance Commission as our chief guest. We will have the opportunity to listen to Dr. P.K. Mishra, Principal Secretary to the Honorable Prime Minister of India in the Foundation Day oration. And today's ceremony is presided over by our own Chairman, Board of Governors, Dr. R. Chidambaram. We also have the august presence of His Highness Jodhpur Maharaja Gat Singh Ji and Additional Secretary, Department of Higher Education, Mr. Rakesh Ranjan. A warm welcome to all the dignitaries. Without further ado, I request Professor Santanu Chaudhury, Director IIT Jodhpur, for his welcome address. Professor Chaudhury.
Namaskar. Good evening. On behalf of IIT Jodhpur fraternity, let me welcome Sri N.K. Singh Ji, Chief Guest, Dr. P.K. Mishra, Principal Secretary to PM, Sri Amit Khare, Secretary Higher Education, Dr. Chidambaram, Chairman Board of Governors, IIT Jodhpur, Mr. Rakesh Ranjan, Additional Secretary, Higher Education, and His Highness Gat Singh Ji. To this august occasion of the Foundation Day of IIT Jodhpur, I shall make a short presentation about the achievements and happenings at IIT Jodhpur, which has occurred over the last 1 year. In fact, last 1 year, one thing which has happened is this campus has become much greener than what it was earlier. I shall talk about what are the things we have done in last 1 year, review of UG curriculum, introduction of new academic programs, setting up of new centers and schools, new faculty have joined and laurels for faculty, new research initiatives, and how we have responded to challenges of COVID-19. We are introducing 4 new BTech programs this year, and the whole year we have spent in designing and developing curriculum for these programs. These are AI and data science, materials engineering, chemical engineering, civil and infrastructure engineering. Our total BTech intake will be 490 this year. The salient features of a BTech curriculum are, this has curriculum with multidisciplinary breadth, flexible structure for different options to the students, balance of theory and hands-on. It is aligned to the meeting emerging demands of industry. We have options for developing technical capability in interdisciplinary areas, and the students can opt for minor in entrepreneurship, technology innovation, and management, or among many other opportunities. So this is a new generation BTech curriculum, which is aligned towards entrepreneurship and at the same time, multidisciplinary context about the technology is built as they go through the program. We are introducing this year 3 new MTech and MTech PhD programs: chemical engineering, civil and infrastructure engineering, and materials engineering. The present strength of PhD program, PhD students is 313, and we expect another 100 students to join. So we can be having about more than 400 PhD students. And we have PhD programs with all the departments. This year we should be starting on chemical engineering, civil and infrastructure engineering, management and entrepreneurship. We have interdisciplinary platform which actually provides forums for faculty from diverse disciplines in biological sciences, chemical sciences, physical sciences, and engineering sciences to work together on problems which are of truly interdisciplinary nature. We have PhD programs in these areas, and these are some of the unique areas that we are pursuing now. digital humanities, science of intelligence, robotics and mobility systems, quantum information, and computing. We have started School of Management and Entrepreneurship, and this year we have admitted students to the MBA program. Our intake has been 76. We have joined PhD program and a joint degree program with AIMS Jodhpur. AIMS and IIT Jodhpur has come together to create an innovation-focused program in Masters in Medical Technologies, Masters and PhD in Medical Technologies, and PhD in Medical Technologies. Our student strength on 1st of August 2020 is 1,710 compared to 964 in last year. Likely student strength in December 2020, when all the admissions will complete, we expect it to be 2,300. And we definitely need support of the Ministry for Data Loan for expanding our infrastructure. Currently, our faculty strength is, we have 11 professors, 4 regular and visiting professors, 1 professor of practice with an industry experience. He will be actually dealing with the students, associate professor, assistant professors, and since 1st August, 49 faculty members have joined. Among the many laurels that faculty has received, Dr. Priyanka Singh received Hargobind Khurana Innovative Biotechnologies Award, Professor Surajit Ghosh for CSIR CDRI Excellence Award. We have set up a few centers and schools this year, Center of Technology Foresight and Policy, and Emerging Technology for Sustainable Development. We have set up schools, School of Management and Entrepreneurship, and School of AI and Data Sciences. The School of AI and Data Sciences have been just approved by board and the Senate of IIT Jodhpur. In research and development, there are few key initiatives. We are setting up a technology innovation hub in the area of computer vision, augmented reality, and virtual reality. We are setting up a research center on DMD, which is a rare disease, Duchenne muscular dystrophy. We are working on space robotics, solar thermal energy, dependable AI. We are working on assurance and provisioning of clean water, AI for human health. Variety of health sensors and artificial intelligence of things is a thrust area for ours, as well as we are working on cyber systems. Our research funding has increased to 25 crores. Sponsored research funding has increased to 25 crores this year from 682 lakhs from last year. So it's a phenomenal increase in external research funding for IIT Jodhpur in this year. New initiatives we have started are many, being funded to the overhead we are getting. Most notably, we have started an international research mobility grant for our young faculty so that they can set up research collaboration with universities among top 100 academic institutions in the country. We shall provide the support for their mobility and stay in the international labs. Responding to challenges of COVID, we have worked on a number of technologies to handle various problems being posed. One is we worked on UV-based sterilization system, which uses hybrid UV and H2O2, that photocatalytic oxidation by sterilization system. This technology has been transferred to 5 MSMEs, and we have got products now in the market. We worked on hand sanitizers, and we supplied hand sanitizers all around this place locally. We developed a face shield, which was picked up by an industry, manufactured on a major scale, and supplied in the local hospitals. And also we have worked on low-cost reusable marble dust appended composite ceramic porous mask for air purification. And this is a unique initiative using marble dust, which is in abundance in this region. This is an example of the products which are in field trials right now based on technology of IIT Jodhpur. And you'll see that we are proud to show that there are these products with logo of IIT Jodhpur developed by MSME. So we have contributed towards MSME and their product portfolio using our research. There was a very interesting work from IIT Jodhpur, which was very widely discussed and referred, which talked about neurological insights of COVID-19, and it mentioned for the first time that disappearance of smell and taste is a definite COVID symptom from variety of literatures analyzing those data and studies. And so it was highly referred, and finally it was accepted by ICMR as set of symptoms to be used for diagnosis. So in terms of academics, we have successfully completed the COVID-affected last semester by switching to synchronous and asynchronous online teaching, evaluation through assignments, projects, as well as dual proctored online examinations. The whole technology has a challenge, and transition was also a challenge for faculty because it came suddenly. But we would like to thank faculty, staff, and students for cooperation despite challenging situation to successfully complete the semester. We conducted online exams where 5,812 examinations happened, and 95% of the students attended the exams. And the exams who could not, and the students who could not attend exams for a variety of reasons, we actually provide them facility for appearing on the exams later on when they come to the campus. National Education Policy and IIT Jodhpur, we are really excited to get the new National Education Policy. We have found that IIT Jodhpur is already following multidisciplinary research and academic agenda, which this new National Academic Policy wants to establish. And so we think that new policy will accelerate IITJ's progress on this path of multidisciplinary research and academics. Joint research and academic program with AIMS is actually an example of a multidisciplinary academic cluster being set up as envisaged in the policy. We definitely want strengthening liberal arts education, and we are looking for support in terms of a policy for setting up a school of liberal arts and upgrading of humanities to the level of the school. We would welcome this initiative that we have taken and to set up Jodhpur City Innovation Cluster for seeking support through PS's office. We are hoping this will become successful and more such academia and industry collaboration in a city-centric fashion can happen. Now it's my pleasant duty to announce the faculty awards. This is Teaching Excellence Awards. There are 3 awards. Category 1 is for classes greater than 100 students. Sandeep Kumar Jadhav from Electrical Engineering gets the award. Second award is in the category of classes between 61 and 100. Anand Mishra gets this award from Department of Computer Science and Engineering. And category between 30 to 60 students, Dr. Deepak Kumar Fulwani gets the award from Department of Electrical Engineering. For each one of them, from institute on the basis of its own income, will put in rupees 25,000 in their individual PDAs. We also have Research Excellence Award. This is for faculty below 40 years of age. The award in the area of engineering goes to Dr. Amit Khare for the Department of Bioscience and Bioengineering for his outstanding contribution in neurobiology and aging. The award for the science category goes to Dr. Somnath Ghosh from the Department of Physics for outstanding contribution in spatially optical fibers, disordered optical systems, and optical sensors. In the category of senior researcher, the award goes to Dr. Mahesh Kumar for his outstanding contribution in sensors and materials engineering. And in the area of science, the award goes to Dr. Shubhashish Banerjee from Department of Physics for his outstanding contributions in quantum systems. Each of the awardee will receive rupees 50,000 to their PDA for use in the scientific activities in future. This brings us to the end of my presentation about IIT Jodhpur. I think we have been able to establish that IIT Jodhpur is on a track of fast growth. We look forward to all of your support and blessings for success of IIT Jodhpur in future. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Chaudhury. For an institute, the campus is its body and academic activities are its soul. Due to the unique features of campus infrastructure and our academic activities, IIT Jodhpur is a pearl in the desert. We present to you glimpses of scenic beauty of our campus and highlights of our academic and research activities in a short film.
Located in Rajasthan, one of India's most colorful states, IIT Jodhpur was established in the year 2008. Jodhpur, often referred to as the Sun City and the Blue City, is a city of both historical significance and of strategic importance to the nation. There is a local Marwari saying that goes, Padharo Mare Des, meaning, welcome to my land. With these words, we invite you to take a journey with us through IIT Jodhpur, the singular, resplendent pearl of the Thar Desert. IIT Jodhpur's campus sprawls across 852 acres of land outside the city off the Jodhpur-Nagaur highway. With a campus plan that was awarded a 5-star rating by the Green Rating for Integrated Habitat Assessment (GRIHA) Council, IIT Jodhpur's infrastructure is utterly unique. All resources are optimized to become a near zero emission campus. The campus buildings reflect the rich architectural heritage of Marwar through the use of Jodhpur sandstone and the archetypal motifs of the region, lending the campus an aesthetic that blends the old seamlessly with the new. IIT Jodhpur, in its early second decade of existence, driven by technology foresight, is working on its mission to redesign and reposition its academic programs and research agenda. The institute has launched a host of new undergraduate and postgraduate programs catering to a wide-ranging contemporary and emerging areas such as artificial intelligence, medical technologies in collaboration with AIIMS Jodhpur, bioengineering, digital humanities, tech MBA, Internet of Things, cyber physical systems, smart manufacturing, and infrastructure engineering. B.Tech program of IIT Jodhpur offers unique opportunity to the students to plan curriculum of their choice within the broad parameters of their departmental requirements. A mandatory Social Connect program enables student and faculty team to take up scientific activities for solving the problems of the rural sector. Based on the emerging need of online teaching, even prior to COVID, IIT Jodhpur had equipped itself to run academic programs online. It started running an online academic program on artificial intelligence for working professionals through a combination of asynchronous and synchronous teaching. The institute has further strengthened its infrastructure to meet the challenges of the post-COVID era through the use of software for online teaching, examinations, and resource material generation. A faculty team at the institute is constantly engaged in research and implementation of technology interventions for online teaching. IIT Jodhpur has restructured its PhD program to enable emergence of entrepreneurs with provision for supporting such initiatives through a highly structured incubation program. For innovative research across disciplinary boundaries, IIT Jodhpur has set up 7 area-specific interdisciplinary research platforms. With the support of DST, IIT Jodhpur is setting up a technology innovation hub on computer vision, augmented reality, and virtual reality, an ambitious national program under the National Mission on Cyber Physical Systems. Facilities have been developed for innovative work on artificial intelligence of things in a variety of application domains. With the significant growth in infrastructure and faculty base, IIT Jodhpur has started attracting many industries for collaborative research projects. Several industries have come forward and set up labs in specialized areas, for example, surgical robotics and virtual reality. The library, which is located in the iconic Clock Tower building, serves as an integral partner with all its users. This knowledge center facilitates in creating and building new knowledge systems and innovative scholarship. IIT Jodhpur boasts of a vibrant student community where students have an opportunity to explore infinite avenues to engage with peers. A number of student clubs and a wide range of sports facilities catering to the diverse interests of students actively support and encourage the co-curricular and extracurricular needs of the student community. Several cultural, sports, and technical festivals provide a chance for cultural diversity. An inclusive atmosphere allows students to participate in an array of events which play a significant role in the emotional well-being and holistic development of a student. Spacious and comfortable on-campus housing accommodation is provided to faculty and staff members, while students enjoy individual air-conditioned rooms that ensure both safety and comfort at all times. It's not just food for thought in IIT Jodhpur. A 3-storied air-conditioned mess facility spanning 2 floors caters to more than 1,000 students at once, besides a food court that serves both a set menu and an a la carte dining service. The infrastructure at IIT Jodhpur campus caters for all the essential requirements of the residents. It has an ISO certified primary health center, a community center with shopping services, and residential parks with open gyms. Wildlife encounters can be both fun and exciting at IIT Jodhpur. The campus is home to several species of native flora and fauna, including a spectrum of birds, deer, jackals, snakes, monitor lizards, and the invaluable Chaudhury trees. We at IIT Jodhpur are dedicated to impart quality education, create qualified, competent, and responsible human resources to meet the emerging technological challenges of the country. We believe in engaging intensely and with sensitivity to create an equitable learning platform that is positive, accessible, and effective, shining like a pearl in the shifting sand dunes of time.
That was beautiful showcase, isn't it? All members watching us live on YouTube and Facebook, please post your comments and suggestions in the comment section. Now moving ahead, our guest of honor for today is Shri Amit Khare. Shri Amit Khare is an IS officer of 1985 batch of Jharkhand cadre. He is a graduate from St. Stephen's College, Delhi, and a postgraduate in business administration from IIM Ahmedabad. Shri Khare has held various assignments in both central and state governments. He was the collector deputy commissioner of 4 districts. He is noted for his role in bringing to the light the infamous water scam in Bihar in 1996 as the then deputy commissioner of West Singh, Chaibasa. He has long years of experience in finance and also in the field of education. He was the first commissioner of commercial taxes of Jharkhand, principal secretary in finance and planning department Jharkhand. He also served as secretary human resource development, secretary information and public relations department Jharkhand, and principal secretary to governor Jharkhand as also vice chancellor of Ranchi University. Shri Khare served the central government for 6 years as Joint Secretary Higher Education from August 2008 to August 2014, looking after UNESCO, education policy, and book promotion and copyright. On return from central deputation, he served as Principal Secretary ACS Finance Companion Department, where he took many initiatives for introducing widespread pre-budget consultation, performance budgeting, gender budgeting, and sectoral budgeting, financial inclusion, DBT, and in implementation of various central and state sector schemes. He joined Government of India as Secretary Information and Broadcasting on 31st May 2018 and has since been the Secretary School Education and Literacy, Secretary Higher Education. Presently, he is Secretary Department of Higher Education with additional charge of Secretary in Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. We are honored to have you here today with us, sir. We request you to please address the audience. Shri Amit Khare.
Namaskar. Good afternoon to all of you. Honorable Dr. P.K. Mishra ji, Principal Secretary to the Honorable Prime Minister of India, and who is to deliver the Foundation Day lecture to all of us. Shri N.K. Singh ji, Chairman, 15th Finance Commission, Chief Guest of today's event, a doyen of administration and economic reform, and I also must add that I am privileged that I belong to the same Bihar cadre and also belong to the same college where Shri N.K. Singh ji had studied. It is indeed a privilege for me to be a junior to such an illustrious senior. Dr. R. Chidambaram, Chairman, Board of Governors, Professor Chaudhury, Director IIT, Maharaja Gaj Singh ji of Jodhpur, my younger colleague Rakesh Ranjan from Additional Secretary, Department of Higher Education, all faculty members, staff, and students, alumni of the IIT Jodhpur. At the very outset, I would like to thank Shri N.K. Singh ji on my behalf and also on behalf of Ministry of HRD for requesting and persuading Dr. P.K. Mishra ji to take out some time for this function. We all know how busy Dr. P.K. Mishra ji is with the engagements of the government and also with Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, who is working 24/7. So I am indeed thankful to Dr. P.K. Mishra ji for accepting this invitation, and especially to Mr. N.K. Singh ji for requesting on our behalf Dr. P.K. Mishra for this occasion. As the MC had very rightly said, I became Joint Secretary in this ministry in 2008, August, almost the same time when the institute was coming up. And this has been a 12-year journey. I was very glad to see the institute building and also the progress report which was tabled by the director. Indeed, it has been historic the way IIT Jodhpur has built itself, and the rankings in NIRF are also very high for this institute. As we all know, this Foundation Day is being celebrated against the backdrop of a pandemic, but more important than the pandemic is the fact that only 3 days ago, the new National Education Policy 2020 has been announced by the government, which comes after 34 years of the previous policy, which was announced in 1986. I'm sure our chief guest and the Foundation Day orator, Dr. P.K. Mishra ji, will have a lot to speak on it. I would only like to say that yesterday, during an event titled Smart India Hackathon organized by our ministry, Honorable Prime Minister had said that education, particularly under the National Education Policy 2020, shall focus on learning, not on degrees, not on duration of the degrees, but on the learning outcomes. It will focus on innovation, it will focus on entrepreneurship so that we make a new mark in the 21st century. He had also directed us that we should focus on learning which leads to more questioning. Instead of rote learning, it should be leading to more questioning because only by questioning we can learn even further. And this questioning should lead to problem solving or meeting the grand challenges which the country and the world faces. I'm sure IIT Jodhpur, which is already much into the area of multidisciplinarity, flexible courses, will be answering many of these. I wish all success to the institute and once again thank Dr. P.K. Mishra ji and Honorable N.K. Singh ji for this Foundation Day lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your supporting and motivating words. Our chief guest for today is a prominent Indian economist, academician, and a policymaker, Shri N.K. Singh ji. Currently, he is a chairman of the 15th Finance Commission. Mr. Singh had a long and distinguished career as IS before his entry into politics and fiscal policy leadership. In addition to his many administrative roles, he has also served as a member of the Rajya Sabha from 2008 to 2014. Mr. Singh brings a wealth of national and international experience to the table, having interacted closely with multilateral organizations such as the World Bank, IMF, ADB, and OECD. His work and contributions were recognized with the second highest civilian award in Japan, Order of the Rising Sun Gold and Silver, given to him by the Emperor of Japan in 2016. On the academic front, he is a member of the governing body of the Nalanda University and is a recurring eminent guest lecturer at prestigious academic institutions like Columbia, Yale, Stanford, and the London School of Economics. Mr. Singh is also a published author and a reputed columnist. He is currently working on his autobiography, which will bring out his 40 years of engagement in policymaking. We are very honored to have you today with us, sir. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. Now we request you to please address our audience. Shri N.K. Singh ji.
At the outset, may I recognize the distinguished chairman of IIT Jodhpur, Mr. Chidambaram, the Honorable Secretary to Prime Minister, Shri P.K. Mishra, the Director of IIT Jodhpur, Vadera Singh of Jodhpur, my brother-in-law, distinguished faculty members, students and alumni who have joined today's conference through this web link. Harish Khare, who has spoken very pithily, spoken with great feeling, is indeed one of the prime movers of NEP 2020. If anybody singularly should take the credit at the working levels for NEP 2020, which in many ways is a transformational one, which the Prime Minister has recognized yesterday, Amit has huge contribution to make. It was indeed, he was part of the cadre before its separation, and I knew him its talents at that time. It is indeed my privilege to address this gathering on the Foundation Day of IIT Jodhpur. This event has had a certain history. Both the Principal Secretary and I were scheduled to speak at this illustrious forum many months ago. The COVID-19 interrupted all that, but both of us wanted to adhere to this past commitment. I'm indeed, therefore, today very grateful that the Principal Secretary, notwithstanding his multifarious and challenging responsibilities, has kept up with this old promise. Since we are talking of transformational technology, Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, about whom we read every day, had said, and I quote, "There is no alternative to digital transformation. Visionary companies will carve out a new strategic option for themselves. Those that don't adapt will fall apart," unquote. As Amit Khare has rightly said, there could not have been a better time or a context for today's Foundation Day lecture. This is for two reasons which he correctly pointed out. First, the far-reaching changes announced recently by the government in the new Education Policy 2020. This has come after a lapse of 34 years. If implemented in letter and spirit, and given its emphasis on foundational numeracy, on preschool education, and with the flexibility in the pursuit of higher education, it will truly have a transformative impact on our society. Second, this pandemic has challenged and changed us forever. There can only be technological solutions, both to the consequences and the management of the pandemic. Many of these, I must confess, have been highlighted in the amazing work being done by IIT, both themselves and through collaborative ventures with other initiatives from other eminent institutions and from private sector. Today, I want to take this opportunity to discuss the role of technology in reshaping and resetting the context of what I call the new social contract. It was in 1972 that Jean-Jacques Rousseau wrote the social contract, in which he had famously written, "Man is born free, but everywhere he is in chains." Rousseau believed that the only legitimate governance rubric is the one consented by all the people by entering into a social contract for the purposes of their mutual preservation. The concept of the social contract was further refined thereafter in the works of Thomas Hobbes and John Locke. Locke believed in self-preservation and man's most intimate instincts, whereas Hobbes had earlier believed in a different scenario, with Locke paying emphasis on the separation of power in the division of the state into legislative, executive, and judicial branches. Basically, the purpose of the social contract is to define the relationship between the citizens and the state. The governance structure elected by the consent of the people and in the free choice exercised in democratic elected governments underpin this rubric. This pandemic compels us to revisit this social contract in many fundamental ways. The need to rewrite the social contract in the context of the current pandemic has undoubtedly gripped the attention of many academicians and policymakers all over the world. The driving force behind all this is, of course, technology. Technology. In an article published in the Irish Examiner, Manoj Safiq, a good friend of P.K. Mishra, was a former director of the Governor of the Bank of England, deputy managing director of the IMF, and currently director of the London School of Economics, expressed the need to rewrite the social contract. Shafiq has looked at it from multiple points of view, like issues of gender parity, the intergenerational choice between draft on limited environmental resources in a manner which balances this access to future generations, an insurance guaranteed framework, a social security system which is more robust, more definite principles on rising levels of frustration, inequalities of income and wealth, guarantees for access to healthcare facilities, equality of opportunities and employment, educational structures equal to adaptation in changing pedagogy and skills which would be relevant to jobs of tomorrow. Similarly, of this year's World Economic Forum, called the Great Reset, Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, also authored a book with Thierry Madden, co-founder of the monthly barometer, by the name of the Reset. In it, the principles of build a better world, both with our theme of our from encouraging greener business. The report indeed is that if businesses prioritize their nature, there could be 395 million jobs globally. I today therefore focus on 7 areas in which technology can have a lasting impact in shaping human behavior, which is relevant to the new approach on social contract. This is relevant to us in multiple ways. First is the area and the issue of intergenerational choice on energy patterns. Climate change represents an intergenerational choice in the social contract. Recent years have seen massive global protests by young people against economic models which do not account for the present environment. How much right, for instance, does the present generation have in terms of foreclosing the ozone layer? And how much space do we want to use for the present generation for our economic activities? This includes issues of burden sharing, the old sinners versus the new sinners. There is need for greater investment in renewable technologies and in terms of businesses where fossil fuel imprint is significantly lower. Technology solutions and changes are central. Issues of carbon sequestration, lowering fossil fuel imprint, lasting and affordable cost of renewable energy, and readapting activity patterns are part of the same dynamics. Second, so digital technology in harnessing is one of our leading experts on agriculture economics. So I'm delighted that he is here. Digital agriculture is a phenomenon in which technology is used to collect and analyze information along the agricultural value chain. It encompasses a wide range of technologies, some of which, of course, have been highlighted in the presentation, such as the use of artificial intelligence, 5G, the Internet of Things, precision agricultural technologies, including sensors, tracking systems, advanced imaging technologies, and automated machinery. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations has stated, and I quote, "A digital agricultural revolution will be the newer shift which could help agriculture meet the needs of the global population in the future." The Indian Council of Agricultural Research is doing fundamental work in digital agriculture, but there is need to restructure their activity in the light of the current thinking and in the light of the problems of the pandemic, and to grasp the nascent opportunities which digital technology now increasingly affords. Third is the area of health. The pandemic has exposed clearly several fault lines in our public healthcare system. In 2018-19, public healthcare expenditure on India was just 0.96% of GDP. This is one of the lowest among peer group countries. Out of this, 70% of expenditure on health is spent by states, while only 0.3% is spent by the union government. It has become increasingly evident in the current pandemic the investment on health is just not social sector spending, but a greater investment in India's economic growth. Technology can help us. E-learning, electronic medical records, electronic systems for disease surveillance, radiological assessments and readings, and laboratory, pharmacy information, which can significantly reduce inefficiencies and lack of resources in healthcare. Fourth, in the area of education. Some of these have been dramatically brought out by the presentation. And I'm looking forward to hearing Dr. P.K. Mishra, who has really enabled this new education policy to see the light of day today. But basic thing is of improving outcomes at different current levels. The emphasis really, therefore, continues to be fostering innovation and in fresh thinking, both at the primary level and the secondary level. At higher levels, for instance, offering credit banks, enlarging the choice of curricula, demolishing artificial compartmentalization between different disciplines, pursuing flexible modes and pedagogy had in the past stymied the ability of students. There is an enhanced focus on technology in the new education policy, such as the creation of an autonomous body called the National Education Technology Forum, which will be a platform for free exchange of ideas and the use of technology. Social distancing has also become necessary, given that has enhanced the need for greater investment in both online and offline teaching methods, on online and digital education. There is no doubt that over the coming years, there will be need to have a creative mix or a hybrid between online and offline education. And once again, technology must determine this optimum mix of the hybrid. Fifth, in the area of redefining the fiscal architecture of the Indian governance matrix, the Finance Commission, which I have currently chaired, underpins our. But over the past 70 years, we have not seriously focused on the outcomes of public outlays. The role of technology in improving assessments and outcomes of public outlay are fundamental. This is catalytic. This transcends the issue of center and the states. Several areas in the Constitution are aiming at technology and technology options, which can reshape the artificial distinctions between the center and the state, between the 7th schedule of the Constitution and the use of Article 282 of the Constitution. Improved assessments of outcomes from public intervention will have a far-reaching impact on the governance rubric of the country. It can transform the fiscal architecture in multiple ways. Technology, again, holds the key. Sixth, in managing geopolitics. India's reliance on imported defense equipment continues to be unexceptionally high. This has stymied the development of high-quality Indian research. Digital technology can play a more significant role in the modernization of the Indian armed forces, though the Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, in conjunction with the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, the CSIR, and other private sector, must increasingly look into production of equipment needed for our defense, the domestic. Harnessing creativity and innovation, like many other things which other countries have done, have a multiplier gains. I have sometimes thought that if somebody is sitting in the remote desert of California, thousands of miles away, can pinpoint a missile to kill an important target, thousands of miles away, by the use of drone, digital technology, and remote sensor, this is a pointer where technology is leading us. Futuristic drones increasingly using artificial intelligence and 5D technology will only advance the frontiers of possibility. We must explore the increasing role of technology in the area of fundamental research in modernizing, managing our defense forces. Managing geopolitics is critically dependent on our defense capabilities. Technology, again, will prove decisive. Finally, is the issue of India's growth potential. In seeking to achieve our growth potential, of at least 7 to 8%, if not more, there are two core issues here, namely the improving our total factor productivity, reducing the incremental capital output ratio. What can technology do to make capital more productive, for instance, which will be reflected in an improved ICO, which is currently only between 4.5 to 5. Technology coupled with many significant reforms which have already been initiated recently by this government has many other multiplier effects, for instance, which I mentioned, health, education, infrastructure, and this can make a decisive difference. If we wish to become an important global player, we obviously have to grow much faster in the next 10 years than we did in the past. Only technology solutions are capable of realizing the Atmanirbhar Bharat, the quest of our Prime Minister, and a quest which the entire country shares as the vision which must prompt the future. Rousseau had said, and I quote, "To renounce liberty is to renounce being a man, to surrender the rights of humanity and even its duties," I unquote. I see that the old contract needs a metamorphosis. The new chapter of a new social contract is technology. The power of the pandemic has unleashed the power of the unknown. Technology can help the unknown to become less unknown if it unleashes far-reaching changes in some areas, some of which I have had the privilege to comment on. To reiterate the theme of this year's World Economic Forum, we need a great reset. Klaus Schwab had said, COVID-19 is affecting every facet of our life, in every corner of the world. We need to move forward and push the reset button on the social contract. I have no doubt that this premier institution, in reprioritizing its research, will look to the cutting edge of what technology has to offer. Our Prime Minister has articulated that the vision of India is dependent on the vision of becoming an innovation society. The new educational policy has given a massive thrust to this process. Thomas Edison had said that the value of an idea lies in using it. We must utilize this knowledge, not only in terms of the past, but what we learn from it, but the knowledge to explore the mind, which knows no boundaries. We need to combine innovation and imagination. This, coupled with the other changes, can rewrite the social contract. It can indeed reset the button. Technology will have a decisive role. An institution of this kind, like IIT Jodhpur, is well poised to become both a player and a catalyst. It is the expectation from IITs and this IIT as a center of technological excellence that this is what we will hope and seek. On this Foundation Day, this vision could prompt the faculty, young researchers, the students in seeking what this institution can offer in these pandemic times. I thank you very much for the honor and privilege you have given me, chief guest on this occasion, and I look forward to the far-reaching Foundational Day address by one of our most, not only our eminent civil servants, but not many know that Dr. P.K. Mishra, eminent economist, work in economics and understanding of complex economic models, would leave even the more professional practitioners some in awe of what he knows. So thank you very much once again for this opportunity you have given me to share some of my ideas with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful words and showing us way forward. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I request all our online viewers to put their questions for today's lectures and addresses in the comment box. On this Foundation Day, we also take this opportunity to release the first issue of TechScape, the science and education magazine of IIT Jodhpur, in the august presence of our eminent guest. The first issue of TechScape, IIT Jodhpur, covers articles, research snippets, and exciting science and technology frontiers of the institute. Here is the short trailer. Exciting. That was TechScape IIT Jodhpur. The digital edition of the Foundation Day issue is now available at iitj.ac.in/TechScape 2020. We now move to the Foundation Day lecture, and I again request our audience to put their questions for the addresses and lectures of today's event in the comment section of the live feed. We will take them during the question answer session. Moving forward, we are very fortunate to have with us today Dr. P.K. Mishra, Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister of India, as the Foundation Day speaker. Dr. Mishra has taken many lead positions as a member of Indian Administrative Service. Specifically, he has taken many important roles for Agriculture Ministry and Disaster Management. As a Secretary to the Government of India, Ministry of Agriculture during 2006 to 8, Dr. Mishra has actively involved in path-breaking national initiatives such as the National Agriculture Development Program and the National Food Security Mission. He functioned during 2001 to 4 as Chief Executive Officer of the Gujarat State Disaster Management Authority, created after the Kutch earthquake of 2001. He received a number of prestigious international awards, including those of United Nations and the Commonwealth Association for Public Administration and Management for outstanding work in disaster recovery and management. Recently, he was conferred with the United Nations Saskawa Award 2019, the most prestigious international award in disaster management. He published a book entitled The Kutch Earthquake 2001, Recollections, Lessons and Insights in 2005, and has written a book entitled Agriculture Risk, Insurance and Income, published from UK in 1996. Thank you very much, Dr. Mishra, for accepting our request and gracing us with your presence. May I request you to kindly deliver the Foundation Day oration. Dr. P.K. Mishra, please.
Am I audible, please?
Yes,
Yes.
you are audible.
Okay. Thank you. Sri N.K. Singh, Chairman, the 15th Finance Commission. Sri Amit Khare, Secretary to Government of India, Department of Higher Education. Dr. R. Chidambaram, Chairman of the Board, IIT Jodhpur. Professor Santanu Chaudhury, Director, IIT Jodhpur. Maharaja of Jodhpur, Sri S.R. Vadera, Chairman of the Foundation Day Committee, distinguished members of the faculty and staff, esteemed alumni, and my dear students. I am delighted to participate in the Foundation Day program of the Indian Institute of Technology, Jodhpur. I thank Professor Santanu Chaudhury and his team for inviting me to the celebration. I would also like to thank Sri N.K. Singh, who encouraged me to be with all of you on this day. As Sri Khare also pointed out, I was not very sure whether it will be feasible to attend, but Sri Singh, who is well respected and a very distinguished civil servant of the country, and he is so persuasive, it is all very difficult to say no to him. But in any case, I am fortunate to be with all of you today. In fact, Sri Singh and I were to visit Jodhpur campus some months ago, but we could not do so because of the COVID-19 situation. At the outset, I would like to congratulate all the awardees, students, researchers, and teachers for receiving the awards today. As it has been pointed out, IIT Jodhpur completes 12 years of its existence and enters the 13th year today. For an individual, this would mark the onset of the teenage phase in life. In this phase of life, foundational changes occur, not only physical characteristics, but ideas, relationships, and core inner values developed in this stage influence one's future. This institute, with a dozen departments offering a broad spectrum of B.Tech, postgraduate, and PhD program options in a wide range of subjects and disciplines. And also, as the director pointed out, there are so many other multidisciplinary and varied areas of work and research. With this institute, IIT Jodhpur today embarks on its teenage journey. This would imply evolution through collaborations and friendships, and encourage critical thinking and deepening of attitude of scientific inquiry. In the post-COVID world, as technologies evolve, this will impact social, economic, and human activities in a more comprehensive manner. I congratulate all of you at the beginning of this new phase in the life of your institute when it begins a journey that looks uncertain and challenging, and yet, if used wisely, is full of promise and opportunity. I have been asked to speak on the role of technology in shaping education, the future vistas. Coincidentally, today's program, this Foundation Day program, is organized using a technology platform without all of us traveling to Jodhpur, which would have meant more time, travel, and other aspects of logistics. So the topic for today, in my view, is in sync with the way we are interacting virtually. However, it also deprives us of face-to-face interaction, seeing for ourselves the ambience of the institute and the experience, the warmth and hospitality of all of you. In other words, had there been no COVID situation, possibly we would have been at Jodhpur in the midst of all of you. We would have had the opportunity to have face-to-face interaction, but at the same time, traveling and all that would have taken time. This brings us to the dilemmas and limitations, the relevance, use, and efficacy of technology that could pose new challenges in the coming years, particularly in the post-COVID world. In other words, technology will enable us to participate in such program with ease and less time. At the same time, we will not be having certain types of experience. So when technology is used, there will be issues of social and personal interactions. Over the past 5 years, I have had several opportunities of addressing students on the occasion of their convocations. I would often speak a few words on how technology was changing the way we live and work, and how game changer ideas such as smartphone revolution, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, robotics, blockchain technologies, and Internet of Things would usher in an era at a much faster pace than ever before. But I never expected that the situation would be transformed so dramatically, so quickly. During the last 6 months, things have changed in a way one could not imagine earlier. The role of technology has become predominant. There is no doubt that in the coming days, the pace of evolution will be much faster and the transformation will be more widespread and comprehensive. This impact will be felt much more strongly in the field of education. Technology enabled learning can bring in not only transformational change in delivery of online education experience, but it can also enhance and supplement regular classroom based pedagogy. It could offer more flexibility and learning support than the traditional formats. Technology offers teachers the opportunity to become more collaborative and extend learning beyond the classrooms. Educators could create learning communities comprising students, fellow educators, and experts in various disciplines around the world. This environment of enhanced collaboration offers access to instructional materials as well as resources and tools to create, manage, and assess their quality and usefulness. In recent years, use of digital technologies in higher education has received much attention across the world. In the country, in India, Government of India is encouraging several e-learning projects under the National Mission on Education through ICT initiatives such as Swayam Prabha, National Digital Library, e-Jantra, virtual lab that are helping students as well as teachers in upskilling as well as providing them quality resources. Mr. Khare, Secretary Education, has been very proactive in, in ensuring that all these work much better than what used to be a year ago. In addition, these efforts are leading to creation of knowledge tools that impart not only quality education and accessibility, but also encourage creativity and innovation, particularly among young students. Most of you would be aware, as it has been mentioned earlier by other speakers, that only 4 days ago, the new National Education Policy 2020 was announced. The new education policy, replacing the earlier policy introduced 34 years ago, envisages major reforms in the education system. The emphasis is on holistic and multidisciplinary education with flexibility of subjects and provisions for multiple entry and exit. It focuses a great deal on technology, use, and integration. It gives a thrust to technological innovations for the purpose of improving teaching, learning, and evaluation processes, supporting teacher preparation and professional development, enhancing educational access, and streamlining educational learning, management, and administration, including processes related to admission, attendance, and assessment. If I could quote at some length, the NEP recognizes that, I quote, India is a global leader in information and communication technology and in other cutting edge domains such as space. The Digital India campaign is helping to transform the entire nation into a digitally empowered society and knowledge economy. While education will play a critical role in this transformation, technology itself will play an important role in the improvement of educational processes and outcomes. Thus, the relationship between technology and education at all levels is bidirectional, unquote. In other words, technology will help education, learning, and its processes. At the same time, education itself can help develop newer technologies and newer applications. The NEP goes on to say, I quote, new technologies involving artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, smart boards, handheld computing devices, adaptive computer testing for student development, and other forms of educational software and hardware will not just change what students learn in the classroom, but how they learn, not just what they learn, but how they learn. And thus, these areas and beyond will require extensive research both on technological as well as educational fronts. Unquote. Again, what it says that technology will help education, but it also needs certain research and development and transformation of educational processes. It is proposed to set up an autonomous body, the National Educational Technology Forum, to provide a platform for free exchange of ideas and use of technology to enhance learning, assessment, planning, administration, and so on, both for school and higher education. The NETF will maintain regular inflow of authentic data from various sources, including educational technology, innovators, and practitioners. It will engage with a diverse set of researchers to analyze the data. In this context, I would like to mention that Government of India is to set up the National Research Foundation, NRF, which will initiate and expand research efforts in technology. The NRF will indeed play an important role in advancing core artificial intelligence research, developing and deploying application-based research, and advancing international research efforts to address global challenges. In recent years, as technology has developed and evolved, there have been disruptions everywhere. This will have even more far-reaching effects in the post-pandemic world. I am happy to note that with the support of the Department of Science and Technology, IIT Jodhpur has set up a technology innovation hub on computer vision, augmented reality, and virtual reality under the National Mission on Cyber Physical Systems. In the present context, the role of educational and research institutions is extremely critical. It is their work, their research, and innovations that will enable us to cope with the emerging challenges of the future. The COVID-19 crisis has resulted in a tectonic shift in our education system. Major universities and higher education institutions have partially and fully shifted to online mode of teaching and learning and are reporting considerable success in their endeavors. Further, availability of world-class technology platforms have enabled educational institutions to have a smooth transition to all online delivery mode. I am delighted to know, as it was shown in the presentation, that IIT Jodhpur also has taken up online activities in a very big way. Our understanding of COVID-19 situation continues to evolve. The need of social distancing will continue to affect traditional teachings and learning processes. A new normal in education might emerge, which will possibly have a lasting influence on pedagogy and assessment and evaluation modalities. While online education has many merits, it also has challenges. A few of that come to my mind, which I would like to list out. Conducting remotely proctored examinations is perhaps the most important challenge. It also requires pedagogical innovations by the faculty, change in evaluation modality, such as replacing examination by project or take-home challenges, can provide some viable and cost-effective alternatives. Another challenge is that of conducting laboratory classes and hands-on exercises for remote students. There may be a need to design and deploy a toolbox of online, virtual, and remote labs that can be used in different courses to bridge this gap. It can be an alternative to the bricks and mortar lab. Another limitation is lack or absence of human to human touch. Face to face interaction in education has a different value which builds up the culture of an institute. Blended learning using a mix of online and on campus resources could be an option. Further, in a multilingual country like ours, language barriers create complexity. Cutting edge research in text translation and machine learning aims to create deep learning systems that can translate English lectures into a student's native language. Similar technologies in voice recognition and text summarization can transcribe an entire lecture and reduce paragraphs of text into relevant bullet points. And finally, teachers will require suitable training and development to be effective online educators. One cannot assume that a good teacher in a traditional classroom will automatically be be a good teacher in an online classroom. Capacity building of teachers will be crucial to success of use of technology in education. So these are some of the challenges and issues which we must address. It is true that technology will create new opportunities and its adoption will be much faster. At the same time, technology that could have been subjected to greater regulatory security checks, such as use of artificial intelligence in healthcare, will likely to be fast-tracked and deployed. A possible risk is that some people can be permanently left behind as the process of digitalization is accelerated at a rapid pace. Inequalities could perhaps get aggravated and would need to be addressed. In other words, there are risks when we deploy technology very fast, the risk of security, the risk of privacy, and also maybe there could be more of inequity because of the digital divide. We are today at a time that was never imagined before, a unique time in our lives. For days, weeks, and months, people are within the confines of homes with their families and loved ones and living with a sense of uncertainty as to how the pandemic situation will develop. In an unprecedented way, the entire world is fighting an invisible enemy. It has posed a great challenge to science and technology. A quotation from Arthashastra highlighting the relevance of Wheel of Time is interesting. I would quote, Kalaha pachati bhutani, Kalaha sangrahate praja, Kalaha supteshu jagarti, Kalo hi durati krama. Kalaha pachati bhutani, time ripens all beings. Kalaha sangrahate prajaha, time destroys all creatures. Maybe it will destroy the coronavirus. Kalaha suptesu jagarti, time is awake while all else sleeps. Kalo hi duratikrama, time is insurmountable. Maybe technology will change so fast that some people who are disadvantaged, for them it might be insurmountable. Time has thrown up several challenges for all of us. It is technology that can help us overcome the challenges. At the same time, new challenges arising by the use of technology are to be addressed by individuals and institutions through learning, teaching, and education. As I said earlier, a major challenge comes from the digital divide, as the national education policy also recognizes. The benefit of online and digital education cannot be leveraged unless digital divide is reduced or even eliminated through considerable efforts, such as initiatives like Digital India campaign and availability of affordable computer devices. It is important that the use of technology for online and digital education addresses concerns of equity. People who are disadvantaged should not become more deprived as time passes and education is much more digitalized. I recently read in one of the inside reports by the World Economic Forum that over a century ago, at the time of the Spanish flu, when people were isolating themselves, many people, of course, mostly Americans, turned to telephone to get in touch with friends and family. At that time, it was a nascent technology. Services quickly broke down due to rapid use. As even today, mobile phone has problem during earthquake or some other disaster because a lot of people use it at the same time. But the Spanish flu underscored how essential the technology of telecom was to modern society. In subsequent years, in the 20th century, we all know how instrumental the telephone became in shaping the world as a global village. Possibly, we are at a similar reflection point in time today. Years later, historians would look back and assess how today's decision on digitalization or use of technology or digitalizing education would shape us as individuals, societies, and nations. Our Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi, has given us a clarion call for Atmanirbhar Bharat. It goes much beyond being a self reliant nation. It envisages India's leading role in the global arena as a leader in technology and global supply chain of goods and services, including learning, education, and research. At the same time, it is also a social change paradigm where every individual is encouraged to strive for excellence in whatever she does. In this context, the role of education and higher educational institutions such as IIT Jodhpur is extremely important. They pave the way for achieving excellence and realizing national potential. In the end, I once again congratulate all of you as your esteemed institute embarks on a new phase of a long journey. Possibilities are immense. My best wishes to the director, faculty, staff, alumni, and very special wishes to students of IIT Jodhpur for Raksha Bandhan, which is tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And also sharing with us visionary national education policy, the opportunity, challenges, and action plan. Thank you
Thank,
very much.
thank you.
Now, moving forward, our Facebook and YouTube comment section is flooding with interesting comments and questions. So it's time for us to move to the question answer session. So our first question is for Dr. Mishra, and one of our viewers is asking that technology that certain play a crucial role in shaping the education, but the rural population of student in India has to have adequate access to internet and devices. So what are the steps we are undertaking in this direction? Dr. Mishra, would you like to answer
Uh,
the
could you please repeat the question?
Sure, sir. So
Because there is
question
some issue in network, I think. Could you please repeat the question?
yes, sir. So the question is that what are the steps we are taking to enhance the access of internet and devices to the rural population of students?
Of course, there are several initiatives have been taken. Firstly, for example, to improve the communication and the challenge, as I mentioned, is the digital divide. So efforts are being made. For example, when this government came about 3, 4 years ago, a target was fixed that all the villages which are not electrified should be electrified. and all the villages have been now electrified. Whichever villages which were not electrified have been electrified. Now also there is a very ambitious scheme to provide broadband connection to all the Gram Panchayat. Of course, it will take 2 years' time, but that is one initiative which is being taken. Then, of course, many other schemes of rural development, having reforms in the agricultural sector, and these are all going. The idea is to go much beyond the unskilled employment, but our idea is to improve their skill, improve their empowerment, improve connectivity, provide infrastructure, and so on, so that they themselves will be well connected. And even we give the example of agricultural marketing, the electronic marketing, the e-NAM. So all those things will empower, will reduce the inequality and disadvantage in the rural areas.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your response. Moving to a related question, which is toward Shri Amit Khare ji, that will the new education policy of 2020, it advocates technology. We see that, but what are the key elements to transform India into a vibrant knowledge society and global knowledge superpower? Yes, sir.
Yes.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me? You see, the policy is transformational in the sense that it is changing the way we learn right from the pre-primary stage up to the post-secondary and even the post-graduation stage. To give a few examples, the entire focus which was there on the disciplines of science, arts, commerce will now be shifted because courses will become multidisciplinary. So long we were not having much focus on the pre-primary education. Now there is a foundational literacy and numeracy focus campaign. So the new system of 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, which is there in the policy, actually the first 3 years in Anganwadi or play school, and the first and second year, that is the first and second grade in the school, that is meant to be activity-based learning. So instead of rote learning, we will focus more on learning through activity, and the reports that we normally have that the learning level of our student is less, that will be improved. The third and the significant feature, as Dr. P.K. Mishra ji has already mentioned in his Foundation Day lecture, is the new focus on research through the National Research Foundation. So multidisciplinarity linked with the National Research Foundation, focus on learning and not on only passing and having more marks. The orientation which we all have, that marks, marks and more marks, will now be shifted to learning, more questioning. That is the change that we envisage in the new policy.
Thank you so much, sir. And I hope and we all can see the kind of changes we have introduced through new education policy will surely result into a much better educational and potential hub for India. Thank you so much. Moving to the next question, we have question again for Dr. Mishra, that can multidisciplinarity feature we have in new education policy, will it attract foreign students also to India? Because we assume that that will help us as a country.
It will certainly attract foreign students. Even now we have several foreign students studying in India. But now our education sector also will be opened much more. And as you know, in India, we have in the IT sector and many other sector, we have excellence also. And with the new education policy, and there will be a lot of liberalized regime, the regulatory system also will be much more liberalized. There will be more freedom. So I am sure that many more foreign students will be attracted to come to India.
Thank you, sir. Surely we will see the change. Something related to the point you already raised in your talk, we have a question to that, that what are the challenges we see for adoption of technology in education? As you mentioned that there is a security and privacy related issue. So what other issues do you see for adoption of technology in education, especially in post-COVID world? Dr. Mishra?
Of course, I have listed out several challenges. One major challenge in adoption of technology is that we must have appropriate technology, because very often what we do, we borrow certain technology. So we need, and India, for example, unlike other countries, it's a subcontinent. Very many areas are different, and if you talk about large cities, medium-sized cities, rural areas, even there also different countries are different at different stages of development, and even there are geographical constraints also. So one thing we have to do, we have to have appropriate technology, appropriate, for example, the types of apps we have, that has to be appropriate for different areas and different types of people. The other the thing I should think of is that our infrastructure, that of course we are giving a lot of emphasis, but our infrastructure has to develop. Our connectivity should be more reliable, in particularly in remote areas. So these are some of the challenges, which fundamental challenges, in fact.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your input. Next question I would like to ask to Mr. Singh. Sir, the one of the comment and question we got is that in a view of prevailing condition, especially in the future, how do you see the role of educators, especially in terms of adapting to this online teaching environment? Singh, sir, would you like to answer to that?
Well, I think that, frankly, this is an issue which has been dealt with in the new education policy, because I entirely agree with one of the comments at the end of Mr. Mishra's speech, that the challenge is also of teacher education, of faculty training, to be able to come up with flexible pedagogy and an innovation-based pedagogy. So I think that the challenge of educating the educators, having a system in which they are attuned to the needs of changing and adapting technology, will be one of the critical challenges which is being addressed, I think, in the new education policy. But of course, proof of pudding is in the eating, and this is not going to be a one-time process. There is a dynamics to it, but the fact that the NEP 20 focuses on the need for inculcating the process of teaching the educators through various parameters, some of which have been outlined, of course, in the NEP itself. So I think that these initiatives which have been outlined need to be carried further to the implementation stage.
Thank you, sir. Now, one other question which some of our audience have asked, which is specifically related to the upcoming stress and side effects on the mental health of the students due to all the changes which are happening. So, what can be done, or what are the attitude change required to handle and combat this mental health related issues? If that can be answered from all of our guest and panel members.
Actually, this is a very difficult question. Mental
I'm
health.
not a student of psychology, so but I agree with what PK said just now, that mental health and coping up with and really ending up, it's called the new normal now. This new normal is part of the adjustment process and the complexities of an adjustment to a world where, for instance, man by nature is gregarious, and man by nature seeks gregarious people. One of the things which COVID has taught us distancing and gregariousness should be a factor which should alter human nature. What kind of an impact this has? And I think that where this question is very quite apart from those who are somewhat older and adults or elderly people, the children face this problem, in my view, in a very, very significant way. And how to deal with the problems of children who have been used to this kind of a thing of the personal relation with other kids of their age, the teacher, with faculty, have to now adjust to an altered world, which is a very, very challenging process. That is why I think that no doubt both Mr. Amit Khare and Mr. Mishra rightly pointed out that online teaching cannot be a mechanical process. The online teaching itself, and how to make the online teaching more interactive, more instructive, but equally more creative, which evinces the interest of those to whom we are teaching, particularly in the younger age groups, is going to be a continuing challenge.
Thank you, sir. That's
One thing I would like to say, certainly this issue of mental health is a problem, particularly in the COVID situation when people are isolated. So that is certainly a problem. But I should say that possibly compared to other developed countries, in our case, we have some advantage. Advantage in the sense we have a close-knit family connection, and then we have joint family system. Of course, in India also, in the bigger cities, of course, people stay alone and so on. But many parts of the country, there is always a mutual cooperation, mutual help among the family members and neighbor and others. That probably can help to mitigate it to some extent.
Thank you, sir. Truly, I believe relatively we have better social support system that helps. And also as educators, as Mr. Singh was saying, that we have a responsibility to make it instructional, interesting for our students. So thank you so much for your response. And our question and comments are still pouring in, but we now need to turn toward the other side. And now I request our other invited guests on the panel if they have any remark or any comment to make. If anybody else would like to say something. Okay, now I request Professor Chaudhury.
Yeah.
Sure, sir, please.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Now I request Professor Chaudhury to say a few words.
I think let me first express our gratitude to Dr. Mishra for his inspiring Foundation Day oration. He really enlightened us with the possibilities and challenges of digitalization in the space of education. And digitalization is definitely leading to new normal in education, and it's coming with positives as well as negatives. And Dr. Mishra's talk inspired a very active and enriching discussions also today. With digitalization in education, it's also a responsibility that we should be vigilant that digitalization does not increase the digital divide, but it should create a breach. Then only the new policy and these online education, technology intervention in education can really change the education system in the country and democratize education for all. I think with these brief remarks, Ankita, you can move forward to the next part of the program.
Sure, sir. Thank you very much, Professor Chaudhury. We are really grateful to Dr. P.K. Mishra and all of our guests who participated in the discussion. Thank you to our audience watching at home. And while the Q&A is over, but your comments and feedbacks are still welcome in the comment section. With that, we now move on to the presidential address by our BOG chairman, Dr. R. Chidambaram. Dr. Chidambaram is one of India's distinguished experimental physicists. He played a leading role in the design and execution of peaceful nuclear explosion experiment at Pokhran in 1974 and also led the DAE team which designed the nuclear devices and carried out the Pokhran test in May 1998 in cooperation with the DRDO. He became the director of Bhabha Atomic Research Center in 1990. He was chairman Atomic Energy Commission from 1993 to 2000. Till recently, he was the principal scientific advisor to the Government of India and the chairman of Scientific Advisory Committee to the Cabinet. Presently, he is the DAE Homi Bhabha Professor in Bark. He has received many awards and honors, notably among them are the C.V. Raman Bicentenary Award of the Indian Science Congress Association in 1995, the Lifetime Achievement Award of the Indian National Academy of Engineering in 2009, the C.V. Raman Medal of the Indian National Science Academy in 2013, and the Lifetime Achievement Award of Council of Power Utilities in 2014. Dr. Chidambaram was awarded the Padma Vibhushan, the second highest civilian award in India in 1999. Thank you so much for presiding over the event today, sir. We welcome you to address the audience today. Dr. Chidambaram.
Thank you. Dr. P.K. Mishra, Principal Secretary to the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri N.K. Singh, Chairman 15th Finance Commission of India, Shri Amit Khare, Secretary, Department of Higher Education, Professor Santanu Chaudhury, Director, IIT Jodhpur, distinguished members of the Board of Governors, members of the Senate, faculty and staff of IIT Jodhpur, distinguished invitees, among whom I am very happy to see His Highness Maharaja Gaj Singh of Jodhpur, my dear young friends who are studying in IIT Jodhpur. I'm very happy that two leading development economists are gracing this function, and it gives me immense pleasure to join the director to extend a very cordial and special welcome to our distinguished guests. Just now you heard from Dr. Mishra a comprehensive lecture on the role of technology on shaping future education, and he also referred to the new education policy. The IIT system, as we all know, a very high global brand equity. Among the IITs, IIT Jodhpur is a relatively young institution. It was established in 2008. IIT Jodhpur's campus has a new vibrancy now under the guidance of its director, Professor Santanu Chaudhury, who has, of course, the full support of the Board of Governors. He has made commendable and successful efforts to attract new faculty members in various disciplines, including highly qualified academics as visiting faculty, and also to bring in bright young scientists, many of them awaiting their PhD degrees as young associates. Director Santanu Chaudhury mentioned about the progress that the institute has made. I'm very happy that master's and PhD programs have been jointly initiated with proximate All India Institute of Medical Sciences in Jodhpur in medical technology and Tech MBA program on management with data science. Big data analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning are becoming important in every field from commerce to cybersecurity. The institute has also taken the necessary steps to complete the curricula by conducting classes through the online mode, and in fact has also taken up some development projects in this context. I'm particularly happy that several interdisciplinary PhD programs have been started in smart healthcare, digital humanities, and so on. A new school of management and entrepreneurship has been created. After all, Rajasthan is famous for its entrepreneurs. And all these recent developments are in synergy with the new education policy of the government. As was mentioned by the director, there has also been a surge in the R&D projects in the last academic year, both sponsored projects and consultancy projects. Dr. Mishra also referred to the new technology innovation hub project from the DST on computer vision, augmented reality, and virtual reality, and the high hub Drishti Foundation to act as an R&D hub in the field of cyber physical systems. These are forward-looking programs. PSA's office has also identified Jodhpur as one of the 6 cities for initiating city-based innovation clusters with the objective of increasing cooperation among proximate national labs and universities, and also of enhancing academia-industry interactions. IIT Jodhpur will be the coordinator for this cluster. I paraphrased a long time back the futurologist Alvin Toffler's famous statement, and I quote, "Yesterday, violence was power. Today, wealth is power. And tomorrow, knowledge will be power." Unquote. I paraphrase this statement to say that today, more than at any time in history, technology is power and is likely to be so in the foreseeable future. I said this because all the sources of power Toffler mentions have their foundations in technology. Technology domination is therefore sought by companies and countries in fields as diverse as human genomics and nuclear weapons through the mechanisms of intellectual property rights and technology control regimes. And India should counter this through technology foresight, which enables us to select what are the critical technologies for India at any point of time. And of course, you have to periodically revisit this analysis. IITs, including IIT Jodhpur, can play an important role in creating Atmanirbhar Bharat. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chidambaram. It is always heartening and motivating to hear from you. Now, I invite Professor Sampatraj Vadera, Chairman, Foundation Day Observance Committee, IIT Jodhpur, to deliver the vote of thanks. Professor Vadera, please.
A very good evening to all the dignitaries and audience watching this event online. We thank you all for sparing your valuable time to join us on our Foundation Day celebrations. It has been truly a wonderful evening for all of us. We consider ourselves very fortunate for having this rare opportunity wherein highly senior level policymakers of the country have shared their valuable thoughts with us. As IIT Jodhpur is entering into its 13th year, today's talk will surely help the institute in better planning of its activities to excel both in academics and research towards meeting the emerging challenges being faced by the country. On this note, I consider it as a privilege and also as an honor to propose a formal vote of thanks. On behalf of Director and the organizing committee of the event, and on behalf of all the colleagues of IIT Jodhpur, I express my deep sense of gratitude to Shri N.K. Singh, Chairman 15th Finance Commission and Chief Guest of today's function, for gracing this occasion and enlightening us with his insightful thoughts. We are highly grateful to Dr. P.K. Mishra, Principal Secretary to Honorable Prime Minister, for delivering today's Foundation Day oration. He has shared his vast experience with the audience. It has been really a very scintillating talk by you, sir. Particularly, you have highlighted the importance of collaborations, virtual labs, and also the role of National Research Foundation in the growth of the country's academic environment. We express our most sincere thanks to Sri Amit Khare, Secretary, Department of Higher Education, Ministry of Education, Government of India, and guest of honor of today's program for accepting our invitation and throwing the light on country's new education policy. We express our gratitude to His Highness of Jodhpur Maharaja Gat Singh Ji for his gracious presence. Maharaja Gat Singh Ji has always shown keen interest in the activities of IIT Jodhpur and visited us on several occasions. We gratefully acknowledge his kind patronage. We are also highly thankful to Shri Rakesh Ranjan, Additional Secretary, Department of Higher Education, Ministry of Education, Government of India, for sparing his valuable time and sharing very valuable time. We express our deepest gratitude to Dr. R. Chidambaram for accepting our invitation and preside over today's program. Sir, you are a great source of inspiration for all of us at IIT Jodhpur. Your guidance and support are highly invaluable for us, for IIT's growth. I take this opportunity to convey our hearty congratulations to the faculty colleagues who are selected for Institute's Best Teacher Award and Research Excellence Awards, as announced by the Director. Our best wishes to them for all their future endeavors. It is always a strong backend, which, though not visible, but is responsible for the performance of the front end, which all of us can see. I wish to express my sincere most thanks to the wonderful team of colleagues at IIT Jodhpur who have worked untiringly for past several days to take care of each and every aspect of the event in a highly professional manner, particularly when the event is being organized in an online mode under the prevailing conditions of COVID pandemic. We express our sincere thanks to the member of offices of PMO, Department of Higher Education, 15th Finance Commission, Chairman BOG, Maharaja Gat Singh Ji, for their help in smooth coordination of the event with IIT Jodhpur team. I express our sincere thanks to Mr. Karthik Sharma, Mr. Deepak Kumar, and their team from Messrs. Alerts for their help in management of the event in an online mode. I also express my thanks to Mr. Amar Ramesh, Mr. Prem, Mr. Vivek of Studio A for their help in preparation of a wonderful film on IIT Jodhpur. I express my sincere thanks to media persons for wide coverage of the event. I would like to express my sincere thanks to entire IIT Jodhpur fraternity for being with us online to witness this memorable event. Your online presence is highly valuable for us. Last but not least, on behalf of the organizing committee, I wish to express our sincere thanks to Prof. Santanu Chaudhury for his constant support and motivation during the entire course of organization of the event. Well, all good things come to an end, but definitely leading to something better for the future. We hope and wish that we overcome this current situation arising due to COVID pandemic and expect all our honored guests to visit IIT Jodhpur campus physically at an earliest possible opportunity. With this hope, we come to the end of today's celebrations. I once again thank one and all for making this program really a memorable one. May I now request all to rise for National Anthem. Thank you and Jai Hind.